There are objects in this world that should never be touched. Objects that seem harmless, ordinary even, until they aren't. She sits behind glass now, protected, contained, inside a locked wooden case in a museum dedicated to the dark and the damned. She is a Raggedy Ann doll, worn, faded, smiling, and she has been blamed for a death, for dozens of terrifying encounters, and for something that two of the world's most famous paranormal investigators called the most dangerous object they had ever encountered. This is the real story of Annabelle. The year was 1970. The city, Hartford, Connecticut. A young woman named Donna had just moved into a small apartment with her roommate, Angie. They were nursing students, practical, educated, and entirely unprepared for what was coming. For Donna's birthday, her mother gave her a gift, a doll, purchased from a second-hand shop, a simple Raggedy Ann, red yarn hair, triangle nose, that familiar, unsettling smile. Donna placed the doll on her bed and thought nothing of it. But within days, things began to change. The doll moved. Not dramatically, not across the room, just slightly. A hand repositioned, legs crossed when they had been straight. A different room entirely when Donna was certain she had left it in another. She and Angie told themselves there was an explanation. There had to be. Then came the notes. Small pieces of parchment paper, paper that neither woman owned, found on the floor near the doll. Handwritten in the scrawl of a child. "Help us. Help me." They checked every drawer, every notebook, every scrap of paper in that apartment. The parchment belonged to no one. Desperate for answers, Donna and Angie turned to a medium, a woman who claimed she could speak to the other side. The medium sat with the doll. She closed her eyes, and then she delivered a message that would change everything. She said the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a little girl, a child named Annabelle Higgins. According to the medium, Annabelle had died on the property years before. She was 7 years old. Her body had been found in the very field where the apartment complex now stood. She was lonely, the medium said. She meant no harm. She simply wanted a home. She wanted to be loved. And Donna, warm, compassionate Donna, made a decision she would later describe as the worst of her life. She gave the spirit permission to stay. She told the doll it was welcome. That was the invitation it had been waiting for. But not everyone believed the spirit's story. Lou was a close friend of Donna and Angie's. He visited often. He was skeptical, rational, grounded. And from the moment he first saw that doll, he felt something deeply, viscerally wrong. He told Donna to get rid of it. She refused. Then one night, Lou woke from sleep with the sensation of paralysis. He could not move, could not call out. His eyes, however, could see. The doll was at the foot of his bed, and it began to move, crawling, slowly, deliberately, up his body. Its small cloth hands wrapped around his throat. Lou claimed he blacked out. When he came to, the doll was gone. He dismissed it as a nightmare, until 2 days later. Lou was alone in Donna's apartment when he heard sounds from her bedroom, movement, shuffling, as if someone was inside. He pushed open the door slowly. The room was empty, but the doll was sitting in the corner, and Lou felt it, a presence behind him, breathing on his neck. He spun around. Nothing was there. Then the pain came, 7 claw marks raking down his chest, deep, burning, like fire drawn across skin. He tore open his shirt and looked down. The marks were real. Donna finally reached out for professional help, not to a doctor, not to the police, to Ed and Lorraine Warren. Ed Warren was a self-taught demonologist. Lorraine was a clairvoyant medium. Together, they had investigated hundreds of paranormal cases across America. They had seen things that would shatter most people's understanding of reality. But when Lorraine Warren entered that apartment and laid eyes on the doll, even she paused. What Lorraine sensed was not a child. It was something that had disguised itself as a child. According to the Warrens, a demonic entity does not possess objects. It attaches to them. It uses them as a conduit, a lure. The goal is not the doll. The goal is always the person. The spirit of Annabelle Higgins was a fabrication, a mask worn by something far older and far darker, something that had used the women's compassion, their goodness, against them. The moment Donna gave it permission to stay, it had begun working towards something sinister, full possession of a human host. The Warrens had the apartment blessed. They took the doll. Ed Warren placed it on the back seat of his car. He did not put it in the trunk. He said later that this was a mistake he would never make again. Because on the drive home, the car's steering began to fail. The brakes responded slowly. The vehicle swerved, unprovoked, toward oncoming traffic 3 separate times. Ed reached into the glove compartment and retrieved a vial of holy water. He splashed it on the doll. The car stabilized. They drove the rest of the way home in silence. The Warrens brought Annabelle to their home in Monroe, Connecticut. They placed her in their occult museum, a room in their basement filled with objects believed to be demonically infested or cursed. Father Jason Bradford, a Catholic priest, was asked to perform a blessing on the doll. He did so, and then, according to those who witnessed it, he picked up the doll and mockingly said, "You're just a doll. You can't hurt anyone." He laughed. On his drive home that same afternoon, his brakes failed on a steep hill. He survived, barely, after crashing into a ditch. The Warrens placed a warning sign on the display case. In large, bold letters, it read, "Warning, positively do not open." Most visitors to the museum obeyed. One did not. A young man visiting with his girlfriend reportedly banged on the case and taunted the doll. He dared it to scratch him the way it had scratched Lou. The Warrens asked him to leave. On the motorcycle ride home, he lost control of the vehicle on a sharp curve. He died on impact. His girlfriend survived with serious injuries. She later told investigators she had seen nothing, no animal, no obstruction, nothing to explain the crash. For decades, Annabelle sat in her case, still, watching, waiting. Former visitors to the museum reported feeling suddenly nauseated when passing her case. Others said they heard whispering. One woman reported being physically grabbed by an invisible hand after she pressed her face against the glass. In 2013, the story broke into mainstream culture with the release of The Conjuring, a film based on one of the Warrens' cases. Annabelle appeared in the opening scenes, and while the film's doll was a porcelain-faced horror prop, the real Annabelle remained what she always was, an ordinary Raggedy Ann, worn, smiling, watching. Lorraine Warren, who lived until 2019, spoke about Annabelle in one of her final interviews. She said the entity inside the doll had never left, that it was still active, that it was still aware. She said she believed it was biding its time. In 2020, something alarming was reported online. a rumor spread like wildfire across paranormal communities. Annabelle had escaped. The story claimed the doll had somehow broken free from her case during the chaos of the COVID-19 lockdowns. Social media erupted, fear spread alongside the rumor. Tony Spera, the Warrens' son-in-law and current museum director, was forced to release a video statement. He sat in front of the case. He opened it. He showed the doll, still there, still contained. But here is what many people missed. In the video, Tony Spera said that paranormal activity around Annabelle had increased significantly during the pandemic period. That museum staff had reported unusual disturbances. That objects near her case had been found disturbed.